I think Pep will look at the final, winning it, and obviously getting into the top 5, getting back into the Champions League. There's a really big, important platform to winning the Premier League next season, maybe winning the Champions League next season as well.
Obviously, from City's point of view, it's just another FA Cup. But for us, if we could get our hands on it, mate, best day of my life, best day of pretty much every Palace fan's life.
Georgia Stanway, me and her sort of combined duo with the DJ, dressing room DJ.
Okay. You were singing, yeah?
We were singing, we were dancing. We were in there till like 4 a.m, dancing on each other's shoulders. It's the best night ever.
Remember Gus Hiddink's dance moves?
Yeah, he loved
Any
it.
good?
Ooh, decent.
Oh, really?
Decent. Yeah, he
Yeah,
could move.
him and Didier Drogba. Who was it? Mikel.
Mikel,
Ballack.
Essien. Yeah, Ballack was stiff. Ballack couldn't move.
Yeah, he did.
There was no rhythm there at all. Hello, I'm Joe Cole,
And I'm Ashley Cole.
and welcome to Could It Be Magic? Brought to you from the home of English football, Wembley Stadium.
All right, Sheriff, you're getting better at this.
That's what I do.
Could It Be Magic is about the Emirates FA Cup.
Brought to you by Carling, the official beer of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. We've done all right, mate. 9 FA Cups. 2 for me, 7 for you. But we'll keep it 9 between us.
We'll take it. You can get all the episodes of Could It Be Magic right here on football's greatest YouTube channel.
Or wherever you listen to your podcasts. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Let's head inside now.
Coming in. It's amazing to be here, Ash, at the home of English football, head of both finals this weekend. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you're at Wembley?
Iconic stadium.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of mixed memories. I think my first memory here was, of course, our first final for Chelsea against Manchester United. But also, I think I have a special memory is being assistant manager for England senior team.
Yeah. The first time at the new stadium, we played in that first cup final, dreadful game, but it was, to win it and lifting the trophy at Wembley, it was just like, it all seemed so fresh, didn't it?
I think it's just about winning, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you come to this stadium, you know there's got to be something on the line.
Yeah.
And, that feeling as you walk out, you've got all your fans on one side of the stadium. It's, the fires, they put, the little canisters of fire when you walk out, you feel the heat already.
Yeah.
It's always normally a hot day. So it's always a great experience. But to actually get it over the line and understand you're walking up them steps, by the way, to pick up the trophy with your teammates that you've worked the whole season for, I think that's the best memory. When you lose, and I've lost in the final, is the worst feeling ever, but to come here and win, no better feeling.
Yeah, the day's written by the victors, in it. Always, I remember preparing for finals and that, so great lads, enjoy it, but you only really enjoy it if you win.
What stands out to you? What's your greatest or best moment here?
So many, Coley. I mean, if you take it into consideration, because it's the same pitch, same arid pitch as the old stadium as well. I remember playing here for the first time for England under 15s in the old stadium. There was we played against Germany and we won 50, 60,000 people. And you're 15. And I'm only from North London, so I must have had at least about 500 people coming to watch me from
whole of Camden.
From the whole of Camden town. And just walking out, and just you see the old Twin Towers, and we won the game 2-1. I remember the Germany manager chasing me around the pitch afterwards, accusing me of diving. So I just,
Might have been right.
Yeah, he might have been right. I put him in the pipe now, 15, do you know what I mean? It was a wicked, wicked day. All the family were there. It's the first time I felt like I could make it I want a bit more of this. It was like that. So that's my best memory.
And in a Chelsea shirt?
Chelsea shirt. I mean, do you know what, Coley? I started the final against Man United. I didn't play very well, actually. It was one of them games that I couldn't get on the ball.
Yeah.
So I didn't enjoy the actual game. Some games you enjoy when you're an attacking player, you're getting on the ball and doing bits. And other games you're just right, need to get through this and just get a win. So when the final whistle went and just running around this pitch with a trophy.
I've got a picture of me and you,
Yeah. Oh, there's been some good ones,
Yeah, I've got a picture of me.
Yeah. I was front and centre in the celebrations.
You
I
loved
enjoyed
it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did love it. Yeah, it was good. But just lifting the trophy was good.
Okay, shall we introduce our guest for today?
Yes, we should, Coley. She is with us. She's 2-time FA Cup winner with Birmingham City and Manchester City.
Yeah.
Like you, with different teams. And a treble winner on the continent with Lyon and France. We're delighted to be joined by by Izzy Christiansen.
Welcome, Iz.
Welcome in.
Hi, guys.
Welcome
You
to the
okay?
team.
Cole squared.
Yeah, Cole.
We're then shaking hands,
How are we
yeah?
doing?
You okay?
Very
You
well.
good?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming.
No, it's great.
And like, what a career you've had, first and foremost.
Yeah.
What does Wembley mean to you?
Listening to you guys, you know, it gives me goosebumps.
You're
because,
obviously younger than us, so you're.
but I grew up watching you guys, you know, in these finals at Wembley. But this place is special. The FA Cup here, the win in 2017 with Manchester City. That I remember everything about the day. You know, there's the hotel opposite Wembley where we stayed the night before the game, and you know what it's like as a player. Like you're waiting and waiting for the kickoff to arrive, and you sort of feel this nervous energy building inside you. And I remember at the pre-match meal, I was thinking to myself, I was so nervous, but not nervous where I was scared. I was nervous, excited. So it was about channeling that. And I remember what I ate for pre-match meal, and I could hardly eat because I was so sort of excited. And I got out onto the pitch and I scored, and I just, you know, it was just the best day ever, and celebrating with the fans. And you know what was the best part about the day was the nights that you don't plan are always the best, especially after you win a trophy. And we ended up in a bar opposite Wembley, and we got the aux lead. Back then, the aux lead, I know it's like Bluetooth or whatever it is now, but
music.
aux lead you can plug in.
Oh yeah.
And one of my teammates, Georgia Stanway, me and her sort of combined duo with the DJ, dressing room DJ.
Okay.
You were singing, yeah?
We were singing, we were dancing, but we had control of the music. The bar just said, "Here you go, you do what you want." Brilliant night. We were in there. We were in there till like 4 a.m. dancing on each other's shoulders. It's the best night ever.
And what genre of music was it? What was the just different?
If you're asking me, we chop between my music, like 80s, 90s music, you know, old school, and Georgia bringing all the modern stuff. So yeah, we had a good blend. Good blend.
It's nice, that, isn't it? It's nice that.
What's your earliest memory of watching an FA Cup final or just FA Cup in general?
Well, growing up in Manchester, I was drawn towards watching Manchester United, and obviously the Ryan Giggs goal against Arsenal, 99, in their treble-winning year.
Broke my heart.
Was you playing?
I remember.
No. Broke my heart.
But the context of the game, it was 1-1, and just read up there, it was 11 touches Ryan Giggs took on his dribble.
Yeah.
Scary that.
You'll know about that as left back. But
back 4, back 5 or whatever. Yeah.
whatever it was back then. But I just remember the euphoria around what he did. It was just magic. Any football fan knows how special that was.
Yeah.
And obviously it meant a lot more to Man United fans. But that's my earliest memory of watching it. And then the way he celebrated after with his shirt, and like you can't do that nowadays. Yeah, but he doesn't care.
Yellow card this day and age, isn't it?
You don't see footballers with hairy
No,
chests
I mean,
anymore.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know what these lads are doing. But no, do you know what? That goal is iconic because it had all of the things it needed. It's like it was a huge game on terrestrial TV. It was a really like tight game between two juggernauts. It was a crucial part of the game, like extra time, and then the goal in itself was a thing of beauty. So you put all them things together, and it just seems to like only football can do that. Where everyone remembers, like wow, like, do you know what I mean?
But you guys know what it's like when you're a player. Like it's so special to take a game by the scruff of the neck, and it takes some serious courage just to get on the ball and do something like that. And to do it in an FA Cup game,
it was incredible momentum turning. Can I ask you a question? Is because how important is it in the female game? How important is that the game's growing? You got the showcase at Wembley, and it's going to be packed.
It's spun. I think it's magic. You know, I think for the women's game now to be part of that and have the finals played here at Wembley, it's one of the days you look for in the calendar. You know it's around mid to the end of May, and it's what you want to be in. You want to be competing in these types of games, and any occasion, it's always about a trip to Wembley. And I've lost here in an FA Cup final. During a COVID year, we played here empty stadium. So that was weird. We went to extra time, but it's so special. I just think it's magic the way it's kind of just slotted in, and it's part of our calendar now as in the football calendar of this country.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for players like you, and the game, the women's game gone massive the last 10 years because of all the great work behind the scenes, but the great work that the girls have done on the pitch, like winning the Euros and all the great things you've done. Like, is that a strange thing? Because like for me and Ash, like we grew up and the FA Cup was always there, and we sort of had we could envisage, wow, I want to do that one day. But these girls they must be like not even dream, like did they ever dream of 90,000 at Wembley? Do you know what I mean? It's just there. It's all happening from.
We all felt it, didn't we, with the Euros win? Like, it happened here at Wembley against Germany. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And obviously what that did for football in this country and drove it. And, you know, you got people all over the country and all over Europe watching it, feeling it, kicking every ball with them. Went to extra time. We did it in extra time. And I was here that day working the game on commentary. And it was just mad because I'm mates with a lot of the players, and it was like, you know, be professional in the moment, but you're also absolutely ecstatic that they've gone and done it. And one of the nicest things, like some of the people from the FA said to me after the game, was like, "You've played a part in that." And I was like, "Did I?" And they were like, "Yeah, you did, because you've been part of the growth and what's got us to this point." But yeah, magical memories here.
Brilliant.
Sorry, the third FA Cup you played in, FA Cup final you played in, was during COVID.
Yep.
How did that feel? I can't imagine playing in COVID times.
You know how hard it is to get to Wembley, right?
Yes.
We got here.
Yeah.
I was playing for Everton. FA Cup final, we played against Manchester City, my former club. And it was just, you know, we did everything. The club sorted out everything. You know, we came with suits on, you know, got everything all made.
Yeah.
We looked amazing, you know, going into the stadium, but then it's empty.
Wow.
It's like, hang on a minute. And like, to generate that kind of feeling, there was times during that game where you needed the fans.
Yeah.
And they weren't there.
I can't imagine playing in an empty stadium
I know.
in such a massive occasion.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be strange for the lads. But should we head down to the dressing room?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. So we're now in the famous, iconic Wembley dressing rooms with the men's and the women's iconic FA Cup trophies.
Just Ashley Cole surrounded by silverware. Just everywhere he goes.
Standard.
Yes, standard procedure. Yeah.
No. But to be this close to the FA Cups, it brings back so many memories. And sitting, obviously, as I just mentioned, in these dressing rooms, does take you back.
It does take you back, mate. Like I said, it's a lot plusher. They've had a revamp.
Yeah, they have.
There's like lovely mood lighting. It's, it's curved. But they've had the carpenters in here. Like, do you know? But ultimately, it's a dressing room, ain't it? You know, and great memories of celebrating, and you know, some not so great, but fantastic.
And you?
Well, I was just saying, Joe was saying there about the dressing room, and it's like when you get your hands on this thing here and you get back in here, these are the best memories as a player. You know, you get the music on, pumping, and everyone's like in the middle there, like dancing, shouting, screaming, singing. And one of the biggest things, you still got your boots on you and the champagne on the floor.
Yeah.
Got to be careful not to slip.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, first world problems there.
Absolutely, yeah.
You actually see a different side to your managers as well, didn't you? You know, normally day in, day out, they're quite calm and calculated, but when they come in here, it's carnage. You know? See their dance moves and...
Remember Gus Hiddink's dance moves?
Yeah, he loved it.
Any good?
Ooh, decent.
Oh, really?
Decent. Yeah, he could
him
move.
and Didier Drogba. Who was it? Mikel, Ballack.
Essien. Yeah, Ballack was stiff. Ballack couldn't move. Ballack, there was no rhythm there at all. That Eastern German.
Rhythm on the pitch, though.
Nah. But Essien led the moves. Yeah, there was a few there.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah,
good memories.
It was good. The semi-finals were fantastic. You know, from the men's game, Crystal Palace, a great 3-0 win over Villa. Manchester City back to their best, beating Forest. And Chelsea versus Liverpool 2-1 in the women's FA Cup semi-final. And Manchester United beating your old club, Manchester City. So, first of all, what can we expect? It's a classic game, Chelsea versus Manchester United in the final. What do you think?
Well, obviously, Manchester United are the holders, and it's normally Chelsea who've got their hands on most of the trophies, you know, going around the UK at the moment. But I think that brings a different type of pressure to Manchester United, because they're going to get hunted by Chelsea, who want to get their hands back on that trophy. And the two sides played against each other in the WSL a couple of weeks ago, and I was commentating on the game, and the game was so intense. It was probably one of the highest level WSL games I've seen this season. In terms of intensity, quality, you know, both sides cancelled each other out. So that, I think, was like a dress rehearsal. Chelsea ended up winning that game 1-0. And it ended up meaning they've clinched the WSL title again this season. But I think this game's poised really nicely for a brilliant spectacle, and hopefully the Wembley Stadium is packed with both sets of fans looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea, obviously Emma Hayes leaving and Bompastor taking over.
Yeah.
You know, what a season, first season to win the title and to possibly do the double. But a disappointing result in Europe again for Chelsea.
Yeah, the aggregate score against Barcelona in the semi-finals of the Champions League was 8-2. Definitely something which I know Sonia Bompastor worked with her previously at Lyon, and something that she, any coach isn't happy with that type of scoreline. But the domestic treble's on, and if they get their hands on this FA Cup again this weekend, that would mean that they complete that treble. And I think, the grand scheme of things, if you win the treble in your first season as a coach of Chelsea Football Club, I think it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, was that expected by people in football? Did people think that Chelsea might have a little wobble after Emma left?
I think everyone was waiting to see whether they would wobble. What I would say is, other teams around the WSL have probably failed to capitalise on the uncertainty that Chelsea entered this season with. But I also think you look at it on the other side of the play in terms of Sonia Bompastor's come in and she's completely, sorted everything out, brought in this sort of seamless, brilliant level of emotional intelligence to the team, and they've been successful again. And the challenge for her again next season will be the same again, but Champions League as well.
Can you give us a little bit more insight into how Sonia is as a coach, manager, person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yourself, Coley, about how, coaching is such a complex subject. To coach, you have to bring your own style, but also you have to have such a high level of intelligence around what's required in a game. In-game management's totally different to, the week leading into a game. And I think that what I've seen and felt under Sonia Bompastor when she was the academy director when I played for Lyon, so we crossed paths a little bit. She used to come onto the training pitch with the first team a few times. And obviously that at the time was part of her growth as a coach. And I think that says a lot about her putting in the hours beyond academy hours to go and observe the first team, see and feel the environment. And for her to come into this team, she's got such a deep winning mentality. She's a perfectionist. She spoke a lot about, detail and searching for perfection this season. And you'll know as a coach, if you find perfection more often than not, if you've got the set plays, you might win. But it's not always as easy as that. So I wouldn't say this season Chelsea have been perfect in many ways, but they've been perfect in the moments to get them a league title. So they want to get their hands on this again, I'm sure.
I see there's a little bit of needle as well here. A quote from Mark Skinner, the Manchester United manager, saying about Chelsea's spending power skewing the market. I mean, is that why Chelsea are? Is that one of the main reasons Chelsea spend a lot of money in the women's game, don't they?
Yeah, they have. They do, and they have, and they will. They're assembling this squad, and they have assembled it, to win the Champions League, to knock off Barcelona, to knock off the Lyons of this current climate of women's football off the European perch. And they spent big in January this season. They brought in Naomi Girma, who's a formidable centre back coming from the USA, and Kira Walsh, who we all know very well, was probably England's arguably one of her best players. I'm biased. She's one of my mates, but I tell you for free, she's one of the best midfielders I've seen in the game. So, Mark Skinner, he's every right to say that, and I think he's spot on. But it's also, if you look at it in a sense of Chelsea are setting a precedent. This is what it takes to compete. This is what it takes to bring the game, forward and push it on. Then I think it's up to the rest to follow.
Mark Skinner has extended his contract.
Yeah.
What does he need to do to take Manchester United to the next level and really compete with the Chelseas?
Yeah, spot on. I mean, I think he, deservedly so, extends the contract. I thought he's brought in stability to the football club. And like I said, if you look at the markers of what they've achieved, Manchester United have never beaten Chelsea in the WSL. Yeah. And they're like their kryptonite team. So this is what makes this final exciting. But he's brought in stability. He's had time. And as well as a coach, if you've got time to work with the players and continue to develop and be backed by the club, then you give yourself a better opportunity to compete and to win. And the next step for Manchester United is winning this again. If they win it back to back, then that's a fantastic achievement. But also they want to build this team that's then equipped to play in Europe as well. Yeah. So I think it's a big summer for Manchester United coming up, but Mark Skinner at the helm, it gives the club a bit of stability and space to build around.
What do you think about, because I always assume you get time as new managers, new coaches in the WSL, but I'm starting to see a little shift in that where you're losing a little bit of time and people are getting sacked.
Yeah.
When do you think the pressure is going to come on Mark?
I think he got a really good situation with winning this last season, the FA Cup. I think that validates what you do as a coach. There's probably no better feeling as a coach than to go, right, we've been working so hard, get your hands on a trophy. It makes you hungry to do it again and again and again. And Manchester United are going to want to reinstate themselves or command that position of being a regular top three in the WSL, which means you qualify for Europe every year. You know how it is, being in the Champions League is massive, in the men's game and the women's game. financially and obviously externally as well. But I think for Mark Skinner, he has to continue to evolve. And I think in order for him to do that, he needs to be backed in the summer again.
Yeah.
Because they've turned a corner. I think I go back to urge any fans to watch the game back against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago in the WSL. They were so intense. They played with such aggression. And I think, you're playing for the manager, but you're playing for yourself. And I think that they need to manage the emotions in this game coming up at the weekend in the FA Cup final. But I think Mark Skinner, deservedly so. He's there. He knows what he's doing and he seems very calm. I saw him a couple of weeks ago, actually, and he seems very calm and relaxed, and it just goes to show, you get back from the club, a new contract, everything, calms down, and he's ready to go on a team. Exactly, yeah.
Right, who do you fancy in this game? Where's your money on?
The emotional side of the game is going to be carefully managed from Manchester United. It has to be in order for them to be successful in the game. If you look at Chelsea's previous experience of these competitions, finals, big games, big occasions, if you're betting, you're backing them. You're backing them. But again, like I said, the game a couple of weeks ago in the WSL, I thought Manchester United were this close. Right. This close. If they can emulate that level of performance, it's a final, anything can happen. But I think if you're going to place your money on a team, you back Chelsea because of, what they've got in the bank. Not literally. The actual experiences of what they can do in the game.
Now we're switching to the other final and we're doing something a little bit different, Coley. To discuss the men's final, we're joined by fans from each club. Crystal Palace, welcome Dan Cook, and Manchester City, Buvey. Welcome, chaps. How are we?
Great to see you guys.
Yeah, pretty good, mate.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Exciting time. I mean, let's start with you, Dan. Crystal Palace. I mean, I actually thought this season you'd be higher up the league because if you finished last year under Glasner really well, didn't you? And you look really solid. But ultimately, if Palace can get their hands on this thing, what a day that'll be for you, mate.
Mate, genuinely, I was talking to Buvey before, obviously from City's point of view, it's just another FA Cup. But for us, if we could get our hands on it, mate, best day of my life, best day of pretty much every Palace fan's life, football fandom-wise, because we've been 2 finals before, both against Man United, lost a pair of them. Yeah. And this team and the way that we're operating is starting to make me not necessarily expect it, but certainly believe that it's possible. Yeah. And just to have that, under a manager like this, the style of play that we've got, it feels like it might be our time, but you don't want to jinx anything,
Yeah, and getting that. Ash, obviously an ex-Crystal Palace player, was there on loan. Yeah. But what we both, and I know you've played, but from being an opposing player there, the atmosphere is always brilliant in Palace. And like you said, it's been the 90s the last time you were around?
We got the 90 final against United, which we were winning. And then we ended up getting taken to a replay in that. And in 2016, Man United again took the lead in it, got pegged back, lost in extra time. So it was just, a real killer, really. Yeah,
so it's not Man United this time. No. That's a good thing. What do you make of Oliver Glasner as well? Because he's done a transformative job at the club, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our league position, we're still 12th, and that in itself can be looked upon as, a lack of progress. But if you look at the way that we're playing, you look at the squad that we've got, the progressive nature of our football, players like Adam Wharton, Mark Gay, John Philippe Mateta, Ismail Assar, there's quality throughout the side. And you've got that defensive unit there, Dean Henderson, great goalkeeper, the back three's pretty much set in stone now. It just feels like we are very cohesive, which is obviously a great thing to have going into a final. Yeah. And the way that we performed against Villa as well was just, it blew me away. Because obviously, they got knocked out by PSG in the Champions League, but this is a top side, and they weren't really in it at all. Yeah. So, it was a great day for us, and hopefully we can go one better.
Yeah.
Your front three, Mateta, Eze, and Sarr. They've been really, really important to, I feel, the success of Crystal Palace this season. How do you feel they're going to fare in a final against a very good Man City defence?
I mean, with players like Ebb specifically, we've seen it in the quarter-final against Fulham. He cuts inside off the wing, gets the shot off from the edge of the box. We take the lead there. The goal he scored against Villa, it's come to him from the other side. He smashed it past Martinez. He's got it in the locker whenever he needs it, really. Ismail Assar has been a fantastic signing for us because when Michael Elise left at the back end of last season, obviously it's impossible to replace a player of that quality, like for like. He's gone on and done amazing things for Bayern Munich. But Ismail Assar is someone that Dougie Friedman wanted for ages, our technical director. And he came in, he didn't start initially every single week, but he's been bedded into the team gradually. And his pace and his directness is really helping. And then obviously with Mateta at the top of the side, the change in him from Roy Hodgson to Oliver Glasner has been remarkable. You know, at the back end of last year, he went on that incredible goal-scoring run, and we're thinking, is this just a purple patch? But some of the goals he scored this season, I mean, the one against Arsenal a couple of weeks back off the bench, he's 40 yards out and he's just smashed it in off the bar. He's 2 minutes on the pitch, and you think, where has this player come from? So, you know, they're all playing at peak confidence, and I think even though City is City, we still do have the chance because we've got the pace on the counter-attack and the quality there in the final third to get the job done.
Yeah, you've made a great point there. You've made your case for Palace, that's for sure. We're switching to Man City. Buvey, it's been a turbulent season for Pep. How is it for Manchester City? Because so much success. What would this FA Cup mean to the club in a turbulent year?
I think any FA Cup final for a City fan is a 8 out of 10 season. It's a great season. I think Pep will look at the final, winning it, and obviously getting into the top 5, getting back into the Champions League is a really big, important platform to winning the Premier League next season, maybe winning the Champions League next season as well. I think Nico O'Reilly's come in, Marmoush has been incredible. Maybe Rodri even features in the game, which would be huge. Do you know what I mean? So I think the club, I think a lot of the players are seeing it as a big platform for next season as well. Obviously, you can't, not think about Crystal Palace. They're exceptional, but ultimately, if we play our game in the final, it would be a massive, massive moment for City to win, 2 out of the last 3 FA Cups.
And Kevin de Bruyne could be his last game. What does he mean to Manchester City fans?
He's probably the greatest player in the history of the club. I think, I'm not of the generation of Colin Bell, obviously, and Aguero's in there with Vincent Kompany, Yaya Toure, but I think De Bruyne's technical brilliance, the amount of trophies that he's won, the way he's dominated that position in the Premier League and Champions League games. It's a real sad day. I think it will be his last game. I think obviously we've got the Club World Cup coming up as well. I don't think you're going to extend his contract for 4 weeks. I don't think that makes sense. So it's a massive moment for him. He's obviously scored in the FA Cup final as well before against Watford a few years ago. So it's a big moment for him. I think he'll be looking to do what he did against Crystal Palace in the league a few months back and influence the game to a big level.
Buvey, we obviously spoke about Palace's front three and what a threat they are. How do you think City are going to fare against that defensively?
If it was 3 months ago, I'd be really worried, actually, because I think Guardiola's at left back. John Stones was coming in and out of injury. Ruben Diaz was having patchy form. But the last few weeks, honestly, the back four looks so much settled. You've got Nico O'Reilly at left back. I can't explain how good he's been. He's been exceptional. And then Guardiola at centre back, which is what, he's one of the most expensive defenders in the history of football. That was what he was signed to be. He doesn't want to be a left back. And he's been absolutely fantastic. Scored a huge goal against Forest in the FA Cup. So I think the back line is better. I think, still with a front three like Crystal Palace, it's going to be dangerous. But I think they've got to learn Palace from Nottingham Forest because they dropped Elanga for the game against us last week. They looked so flat. They looked like they were parking the bus. It didn't work. So for Crystal Palace, they have to make sure they play all these guys and actually play to their level. And I think they could influence the City back line. But it's a lot better than sort of a few months ago, 100%.
Yeah.
Buvey, what's your thoughts on Phil Foden this year?
I think we're too harsh on him. Football fans obviously want to wind me up, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans. But this is a young footballer. Who's the last English player to win the PFA Player of the Year award? Like, seriously, it's many, many years ago. He's a flair player. He's playing in a side without Rodri. I think the whole midfield has been completely weakened without Rodri. You've got to let him have a season, not off, because obviously his level is far better than what he's shown this season, of course not, but you have to let him come good. You have to give him the chance. Surely he's still, in his mid-20s? He's achieved everything in the game. Massive as a City fan, even against Inter Milan in the Champions League final a few years back when De Bruyne got injured. You've got to give him a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, when we played, it wasn't prevalent and massive on social media. But I think these players now, what he's going through in terms of, he's probably got a challenging time,
Yeah.
Player of the season of the Premier League was, for me, untouchable. And then, having a little bit of a dip and a bad moment and the pressure that he gets. I do feel for these younger players in this generation of, outside noise and external noise that the pressure people pile on them is, I think you've got to give him a little bit of grace. Let him, relax. Yeah. And hopefully we'll start to see the best of Phil Foden.
Have you noticed
again.
anything out of interest, sort of in his game that he's not doing right, or is there anything you've noticed?
It's a great question. No, not really. Look, I think when you have a talented team that was all on the same wavelength, like City have been for the last 5-6 years, and they're going through a bad moment, is not a Phil Foden issue, is not a Kevin de Bruyne issue, is a group dynamic issue. And I feel, they lost players at important times in the season. I think we all speak and know how good Rodri is and how important he is to City. And yeah, it's football.
Yeah.
You can't win
He'll
all
be
the
back,
time.
100%.
He'll be back. Of course he will. He's too good to not be.
Yeah, I think he's a young man who's going through a difficult time. You know, he's a father and he's got 3 kids. He's done a lot in his life. There's a lot of living he's done.
Yeah.
You know, he's won everything in the game. I think you just need like chill out, get this season done. Hopefully, not for Dan's perspective, but another trophy in his locker. Have a lovely time with his family in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time Phil
Recharge.
Foden had that? And then come back next season and be the same Phil Foden we know and love. He's a great player. Right, that's a case for both sides. The question to all, I'll start with you, Izzy, because we're going to have to let you leave. Who's going to win this FA Cup final?
Well, do you know what? Like the fairy tale is Palace winning. And I think they've been brilliant this season. You know, Dan gave us a really good insight there into, you know, the way that the team's evolved under Glasner. And, you know, I love just seeing teams evolve and functioning. And Ash just mentioned it there about dynamics of a team, and Palace are the epitome of that right now. But I'm going to sit in the City camp here.
Okay.
I'm going to sit in the City camp because I think that in inverted commas, it's a bad season. But if they were to get their hands on that, not many trophies are up for grabs every year. And I think if City were to get their hands on that again, it would be a really good platform for them to start the sort of rebuild for next season.
Yeah. Coley?
Oh, again, soft spot for Palace. Great memories of Crystal Palace and my time there. We mentioned the front three. How can I affect the game and be a match winner? But again, same as Izzy, I think my brain is going with Manchester City.
Yeah, well, it's the sensible money. Well, Dan, you've heard them too. I'll come to you. I know you're going to say Palace, but I want you to tell me how they're going to do it.
I think, you know, it's an uphill task, ultimately. If City play to their level, even if we play out of our skin, it's going to be very difficult. But if we're going to do it, I think you go back to the game we lost at the Etihad recently. Obviously, we let in 5 there, but we had a 2-0 lead and we were on the verge of going 3-0 up. Eze had a goal disallowed where he was about 6 inches offside to go 3-0 up. There was a free kick that De Bruyne scored a few minutes before half-time that got him back in the game, and the momentum just shifted. At half-time in that game, Glasner changed it to a more conservative approach, and we sort of capitulated straight after the half-time, and he pretty much said afterwards, I won't be doing that again. We need to continue to play our way. We need to continue to try and put pressure on them. So I think that will be a lesson learned. Whether or not it's enough to get over the line is another matter, but we'll certainly go into this game and look to put them under pressure and play our game, and hopefully it's the way that it ends up.
Izzy, we're going to have to let you go. You've got to catch a train, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome, guys.
Pleasure.
May the best team win, boys.
Yeah. Carling, as the beer of football, is all about bringing mates together.
We all love getting one over our friends, especially when it comes to quizzes.
So me and Ash are going to play Cole versus Cole, a little bit of FA Cup trivia brought to you by Carling.
So what are we doing today?
Today, we are playing FA Cup final fact or fiction. Dan and Buvey are going to read out a statement about an FA Cup moment, and we have to guess whether it is true or false.
So there are 10 questions here. The person with the most points is going to win after the 10. Question 1, Louis Saha scored the fastest goal in FA Cup final history. Fact or fiction?
False.
Correct.
Played in it.
He scored for Everton against Chelsea in 2009 after just 25 seconds.
We've got the second question, sorry. Steven Gerrard scored a hat-trick in the 2006 FA Cup final against West Ham.
False.
Is that noise allowed? It's Ashley or Joe, isn't it?
That's a solid buzzer.
It's a solid buzzer.
You said me.
I can do the Ash after, right? I'm 2 up.
Yeah.
Two up. Now, Ash. Okay.
The FA Cup final was once delayed because of a royal wedding.
Ash. False.
No, it's a fact. The 2011 final was pushed back slightly due to Prince William's wedding.
Connie, you're very...
Yeah,
Quiet
Passive.
I'm just waiting. Listen, don't dive in.
I didn't know that one. That's what he's waiting for.
Next one. Didier Drogba scored in 4 separate FA Cup finals for Chelsea.
Boop.
Oh, he's done it again.
Sorry. Ash. Fact.
Yep, correct.
Wow. Okay.
The first ever FA Cup final was played in 1923.
Joe, false.
Correct. The first final was in 1872. Wanderers beat Royal Engineers.
Okay, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
The first Women's FA Cup final played at Wembley took place in 2015.
Ash, false.
No, that was true.
Arsenal have won the FA Cup more times than any other club.
Joe, fact.
Yeah.
True.
As of 2024, they have won 14 times.
The first FA Cup final at the new Wembley Stadium was played in 2006.
Joe, false.
That's true, yeah. The new Wembley opened in 2007.
Chelsea women have won more Women's FA Cup finals than any other club.
Joe, fact.
Also,
I would have gone now. I would have gone Man United.
Arsenal hold the record with 14 Women's FA Cup wins.
Right, it's 3-3. This is the final question. Cristiano Ronaldo scored in the 2004 FA Cup final, his first major trophy with Manchester United.
Joe, true. Versus Millwall.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
is true.
Thank you. You can't win everything, Geese. Look, you've got all of these at home. You can't even move in your house for FA Cups.
What up? Hey. Now, well done, Coley. Well done.
Coley.
Well done
Thank
again.
you, mate.
Cheers, Dan.
Listen,
Cheers, Boo.
That's all from us from this episode and for this season. Thanks to Izzy Christiansen, Dan and Buvey for being with us. Good luck to both teams taking part in the final.
This has been Football's Greatest Could It Be Magic, brought to you by Carlin.
The official beer of the Emirates FA Cup and the Adobe Women's FA Cup.
Remember to subscribe and follow the show, and we'll see you next time.
18 plus, please drink responsibly.